particularly at you know, close up. But I thought it would, you know, obviously some amount of either the plasma rifle or, I don't know, maybe Needler or something. I mean, Needler is designed to, you can put 7 shots into something, it's designed to take them down. But the problem is it can cause a chain reaction, which you sort of have to watch what kind of items are being dropped, particularly on the higher difficulties. And then obviously the battle rifle would be better against these smaller dudes, because you could spray fire on them. I need to save. Kind of need to save my remaining shotgun rounds. So I should be able to pick up some now. From, I just walk around a bit. I should be able to find some drops here. Alright, there's 16 right there. Alright, that refills me. Not perfect. The other thing that you sort of have to watch out for, in addition to these guys rocking the shotguns, which can be kind of dangerous because it'll eat right through your shields and health, is some of these guys are going to be walking around with rocket launchers. So every so often you'll be walking along, mind your own business, and bam, here comes a rocket to the face. No. You should be dead. There. Fix that problem. Good check mark. Okay, so there's an example right there. Probably one of the Covenant members was rocking a rocket launcher, and I just happened to get lucky enough for the elites to beat them rather than get blown up by rockets. Carriers are fucking obnoxious because if you let them get near you, they are a bomb. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention is, since we're coming to the, sort of the end of the game, the plan is threefold. Part 1 is we're gonna disrupt the, we're gonna disrupt the, okay, I'm having a lot of trouble fighting that guy, and now I'm dead. That's their game plan, is to basically defeat your shields and then let the little guys come through and they will eat your health. But the plan is we're going to disrupt the Guilty Spark, make him focus on repairing the Halo array, because we're going to do major damage to it in this level. And then the next step is going to be to find Captain Keyes and recover his detonation code, so we can make the Pillar of Autumn go whatever they said. I want to say nuclear. That's not really the right word. And that's how we're gonna beat the Flood, and then obviously we're gonna try to escape with our lives after that. My only criticism of the Halo series, at least up through 3, because I did play 4, but like I said, 4 ends on a cliffhanger, so it doesn't really end per se, or come to a definitive conclusion. But one of my sort of my gripes about the game is if you're a main character, i.e. Master Chief, Cortana, you get to live because you're a main character. If you are a non-main character, you're a secondary character in the Halo series, you don't get to live. It's really kind of obnoxious because I understand the concept is it is war, people die in war, that shit's gonna happen, but like, you would have to imagine that somebody, somebody who's not, one of the main characters would survive, and very few of them, if any of them, survive the original trilogy. You either have to be so completely irrelevant to the overlying main storyline, or you're going to die. And that's sort of my main complaint is it gets to the same level of like a Captain Kirk versus a Jean-Luc Picard thing, where Kirk, he's a little bit from a different era per se, but he's always there on all of the missions. And because he's always in the mission, you sort of are like, well, what happens if you get hurt or die, or you got to make a difficult decision? You're putting your crew kind of in a sticky situation by doing what you're doing. I understand it was how science fiction was back in the day. You would have a, between limited cast, ability to, work with a cast of limited number of people, you would get essentially, you would have the heroic, captain character, and then you would have like a science character, and then usually for some unknown, I don't know why, I don't understand. I've complained about this before to other people, but I don't understand why every show in that time period had the little kid character in it, whether that be Short Round in Indiana Jones, or obviously a Johnny Quest, who was kind of the main character, but he was sort of behind his sciencey dad and their bodyguard, Dr. Quinn, and I believe his name was Race. Anyways, but that was a common thing in like the 60s, where you'd have this little boy character that served no purpose in the show other than to be like, he was there, he did a thing, he was generally just a giant waste of or he was just a giant burden generally, but what are you gonna do? I like when that gets caught. That's funny. So we're gonna attempt to take out the Banshees before we continue. They're a little bit difficult to deal with if you don't. He jumped to his death. That's funny. It's actually going to be very helpful to me. So that would not have worked on Legendary. That would have definitely killed me. Just because... That's the thing about Legendary that always sort of gets me is... According to the guide, according to, when you talk to people who've dissected this game, Legendary mode, the guns are just supposed to do about 40% more damage, okay? And the enemies take about 40% less damage, okay? Okay, but a lot of times when you're playing this mode, which is one step below it, and you get shot and you go, okay, it took 1/10 of my shield, so that means that if I were to get shot with the same blast in Halo Legendary mode, it should result in it should result in me taking 14. Well, not 14%. It would be obviously more than that, but it would be, you know, an additional 14% on top of that, you know. So, you know, if the normal number is say 100, then it would be doing about 140 damage to me, which is about 1.5 times. Okay? But oftentimes it feels like when I get shot, it's like closer like 2 times. You guys are dead. I watch people do lasso runs of this game, as I've spoke about before. Like, a lot of cases, it's not just that you're playing the game on a higher difficulty. It's the fact that you're playing it on a higher difficulty and you have quote-unquote all skulls on. Really, you only have skulls that disadvantage you on. Which, you know, basically takes away your HUD. So you can't see how many bullets you have per se, or roughly where your health is at. I'm not sure if that part's true or not. I know it takes away your you know, your ammo count slash bullet capacity, and I believe it takes away that reticle as well. I could be wrong. But yeah, I mean, it adds certain things that I don't really understand because it kind of makes the game a little bit easier on Legendary. Like, for instance, if I'm playing Legendary mode, okay, and everything's doing more damage to me, okay? On the one hand, the lasso run turns the skulls on, which means that in order to get my shields back, I have to melee. They don't automatically come back. I either have to melee a character or I have to find a health pack, okay? That's pretty challenging, okay? I get that. On the opposite end of things, the grunt funeral skull's also turned on, which means that every time a grunt dies, it also drops grenades that explode. So, like, the entire strategy of, we'll just find the grunt and shoot it, ends up becoming, at least in Halo 1, like the go-to strategy. It's like, oh, there's a grunt around. Shoot the grunt. It'll drop the bombs. It'll kill the elite. Whereas you're playing regular Legendary mode, you kill the grunt, it does not drop grenades that explode. So you have to still beat that elite. You still have to beat the surrounding grunts, the surrounding jackals. So in that regard, it's like a mixed blessing, because you're in Legendary mode, you're not going to probably be running up to characters all that much to melee them, which is okay on the one side. Like I said, that's a challenge, because if you're not meleeing, your shit's not coming back. But if you're not taking any damage, then the trade-off of having to go up and melee things to recharge your shield, you know, there's like, okay, so I take a shot from a grunt or something, and I gotta go up and melee that grunt to ensure that my shield comes back. Okay, that's fine and dandy. You know, but if I stand away from the grunt with my handgun and shoot him in his head, that's one shot with the gun that I said was really good, because it's accurate, and it's actually really good in combo with the plasma pistol. So you're not taking damage, so you don't need to worry about your shields per se. And then, you know, in turn, it actually becomes a bit of an easier playthrough, because you happen to have that one all-encompassing skull on, you know, the grunt one. And I understand all skulls on isn't actually all the skulls, because while they turn on grunt birthday, which causes a noise to be made, when you shoot grunts in their head, go, yay! Like, that doesn't do anything. It's just a cosmetic thing, you know? In side news, unrelated to what I'm doing right now, or anything else that I'm going to talk about in this series, I've been having frequent sinus headaches when I wake up in the morning. Like, I could feel, because I'm allergic to dust mites, I can feel when I'm laying down, I can feel the one side that's closest to my pillow start to fill up with like mucousy stuff. And whenever I roll over on the other side,
okay,
then
let's take care of the
that,
pulse generator.
Yeah, so I'm gonna make a bit of a boo-boo here, but we'll fix that in a moment. I don't realize that there's one of the pulse generators is exactly north or directly up from my location, and that I have to get a Banshee. Not that Banshee, because if I shoot the Banshee, it'll die, and I won't be able to take it. But what I'm trying to say is that there's a Banshee around here I need to get. Like, go up. Anywho, getting back to my other story, I've been having a lot of sinus headaches because there's a lot of dust in my house. Wintertime, everything's closed up. Okay, great. So, long story short, I proceed to, yeah, I died. I proceed to start cleaning everything. So first thing I do is I clean my sheets. Still having problems. Okay. So then I clean my bedding. Okay. Still having problems. So I've got my, you know, my blankets, my comforter, my sheets have all been changed in the same week. Still having trouble. Okay, it must be my pillow. I wash both my pillows. We would send them through a dry cycle in the dryer, you know, to kill anything that's in them. Okay, great. And, come on, die. I sent them through a dry cycle. I've got everything cleaned up. My sheets have been changed. My comfort, blanket, everything's been washed and dried and cleaned. And still having the same troubles as I did before, which means only one thing. I need to vacuum my bed, my actual physical bedding. So, easiest way to do that, get yourself a good old-fashioned vacuum cleaner and vacuum it out, either using the hand tools, or I don't suggest this, but you might be able to do this as well, depending on what type of bed you have. Use a beater brush and run it over the top of the bed as if it was a carpet. And I don't suggest that. That's entirely dependent upon what you individually want to do. I did it for my bed because my bed's sort of an old school bed that is a mattress and spring. So, you know, running it across the top of my bed is not like, isn't gonna destroy like any sort of, because there's no foam mattress or anything that I have to worry about, or Tempur-Pedic, you know, space age material, blah 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 blah, that would rip apart by me trying to vacuum it. But so I vacuumed this fucking bed. Mag-yard. I could not believe how much dust I pulled out of that bed. I clearly have not vacuumed it in a while. Like, a while meaning like since I moved into my house, or maybe even prior to that, which would be like, we're looking at like a 3 to 5 year period at like the lowest. This is the mistake I made. Come down here thinking that I can just bypass this whole area, when in reality one of the things I need to overload is actually directly above me, and I don't realize that till I get to right here and I try to open up the door, and the little panel here doesn't actually react to me. Yeah, I'm trying to click the panel to open the door, and then I realize at this point that, oh, I made a mistake. Well, at this point I realized that maybe I'm too close to the warthog, and then I go, oh, it's up there, which means I need to backtrack. And then Cortana's getting yell at me and goes, you're forgetting about... It's like, yeah, I'm backtracking to literally to the place I need to be. You should be yelling at me right now at the store, not once I get, like, closer to the Banshee I need to go pick up. Anyways, I pull a ton of dust out of my bed. And I am going to see if that changes anything. I'm expecting it will, because I had vacuumed the bed very well to try to pull up all the dust out of the bedding. And then I'm gonna put new sheets on. I'm gonna put you know, my blanket and that back on, and then we should be good. I haven't destroyed the pulse generator yet. What the fuck's wrong with you? Oh, you're getting closer to the pulse generator to go destroy it. Okay, okay. Let me yell at you some more. Like, you know, it's like you're a kid and you forget to vacuum the carpet or dust or clean the bathrooms, and like right as you're picking up the sponge and rags and chemicals, your mom comes in and goes, hey, you need to make sure you clean them bathrooms. It's like, what do you think this shit is for? I'm gonna die here. I took too much damage. So this time we're gonna fix that. What we're gonna do here is we're going to, because we're back to where we start the last checkpoint, I'm gonna move up close, and then we're gonna hop in here and we're gonna shoot everything. We're gonna start with the Banshees, and then we're gonna work our way down. Worst case scenario, what happens is he bombs me and I die. And best case scenario is that happens. So as long as the Wraith that's in the back doesn't get the magic number to figure out exactly how far I'm away from it, I should be out of its range. Obviously it's moving back and forth and left and right, so it may move into my range at some point. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to kill the elites. I'm going to have to shoot that turret eventually because there's some grunts up there. They're going to hop into the turret just like that and start shooting at me, so I got to focus them down. And then you could see when they're dead because the turret drops back down. But there's probably about 4 or 5 grunts up there. They're going to keep jumping into that turret. There's one going for it right now. You gotta shoot it again. Okay, he's dead. Kind of funny though. You know, you target down the turret for a bit, you kill the grunt, drops, and then you focus on it some more, and then the grunts don't jump in till after you're trying to kill the elites again. And then once you get to this point, now you can just run over the remaining guys. There's only one more Banshee. So another thing we want to do before we head to the terminal room, once I get enough height, is I'm going to do this, which is, well, aside from taking out the other Banshee that's flying around, there's some grunts that are hanging out on top here that have plasma rockets, and they need to go bye-bye. Because when you come out of that area, yeah, you can see they're still shooting at me. You see there's one there, and there's one on there's one to the right of me as well. So what I need to do is I need to eliminate them both. We're trying to get rid of the one to my current left, and then we'll worry about this one over here. Secondary. Alright, and then I'm gonna use my little handgun here, and we're gonna shoot the grunt. That's a dead grunt. That's okay. He can do his thing. This is the hard one. This is the harder of the 3 ones to do, because when you enter this area, there's gonna be some, what's it called, that you take care of. And trying to overload the pulse generator seems like a good idea, except there's reinforcements that come in from behind, and they have, a couple of the guys have rocket launchers. So as you attempt to escape, you're inevitably going to get shot by rocket launchers. So this is the smarter thing to do, even though on Legendary this is possibly the hardest part to do. I mean, maybe not in the whole run, but this is definitely the hardest part of this level. Is you have to get rid of all of the flood. Then once you've killed all the flood, you overload your shield and you retreat back to this area that I'm standing in right now, because as the guys pour in through the front door, you don't want to be near them. So right now I can see there's still guys around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go find them and eliminate them. So I don't know where these guys came from. I'm guessing there was a pus bag somewhere that exploded. But what we're going to do is we're going to make sure they go away. And then once my shields, like there's still a couple left. Still more behind me I need to get rid of. Yeah. They do that, but they'll get caught on geometry, which is very obnoxious. Okay, now that the room's clear, now you overload the pulse generator. You back your ass up. And this is the hard part, because like I said, they start pouring in from the front door, as well as, I'm guessing, these little air shafts that are directly above me right now. So what we want to do, you can see they've eaten through most of my health already. So if I was playing Legendary mode, I would be dead. But the idea is to get yourself to the point where excuse me, where you've got the flood under control. Then you like I said, spawn the generator, and then you do the other end of the respawn. And then once you come back out here, we're gonna have to double check to make sure the grunts are still dead.
I've located the pillar of
Because sometimes I feel like the grunts here respawn a bit.
Energy readings show her fusion reactors are still powered up. The systems on the Pillar of Autumn have fail-safes even I can't override without authorization from the captain. We'll need to find him, or his neural implants, to start the fusion core detonation. One target remaining. Let's take care of the final pulse generator.
Oh yeah, we have to take care of the last pulse generator, which will then ultimately allow us to what's the word? Finish the level. As I was saying, when you do a speed run of this, one of the key exploits is the Banshee, allowing by switching between old graphics and new graphics. You can cheat the game, and because I believe the last pulse generator, I could be wrong, the game may be programmed where you need to hit all 3 pulse generators in order to finish the level off, but I believe you can kind of circumvent that by using the Banshee trick, and all you have to do is get to the last pulse generator in order to... I'd have to rewatch it, I guess, is what I should say. Because you may be able to using the glitched out of space Banshee, you may be able to actually set off the pulse generator without actually leaving the Banshee. Oh, I got killed. That happens.